Hello, I'm Eagle Gardens, Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. And this is fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, episode 381. Hopefully, you guys have had an amazing weekend, in particular, amazing Sunday. I've got a great guest here in front of me tonight, Prometheus Soil. May remember him from earlier this year, or last year, I should say, when we got to meet him for the first time, and what a pleasure it was. But since then, he's been quite busy, and I thought I'd get him back to see what's up. How you doing, brother? You want to remind everybody where they can find you? Tell us how you're doing today.
I'm doing awesome, actually. I am on IG. It's Prometheus underscore soil. And I also have some other ventures that we'll talk about here. But been having a marvelous year, actually. No problems at all. I do apologize for the video quality if it's not the greatest, but we do the best we can, right?
Man, I am so stoked to hear that you've had a great year. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, with all things considered, myself included, it hasn't been a bad year. I hate to say it, but I think most things I've been happy. So, you want to just jump into it, or you want to?
Oh, you go ahead, man. How you want to lead this off?
Let's see how you've been doing. I mean, seriously, how you been? I mean, other
Well,
than cannabis, how's life treating you?
I'm life's bitch, man. I work every frickin' day, but I have no complaints every Friday. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I work in medical, and COVID's been my friend, man. It's paying for a lot of things right now. So, I'm not sitting there rallying COVID on, but hey, it does a thing. So, but yeah, I work every day, man. 60 hours plus every week. So.
Man, I respect the shit out of that.
Well, at my age, yeah, but thank God you can work from home.
It makes it a little easier, but work's work nonetheless. That's
Yeah, I've heard that before, man. But no, it's a little stressful, but it's what we do, and it's not that big of a deal, man. But I enjoy the heck out of it. I've always enjoyed this aspect of my career, but yeah, it's been really awesome, man. I mean, at first I thought it was pretty much a kick in the groin, but it's actually been a step up when you think about it. So I want to say hi to everybody out in the chat.
Please do.
Yeah, you just got back from having a marvelous freaking weekend last weekend celebrating 420, man. Had the honor, and I mean true honor, man, to be hanging with some people. Canna Queen from Canna Queen Genetics, Chicha B, who was on last night, Smiley's Garden, and a bunch of the guardsmen for Canna. And man, I'm telling you, the good fire weed was rolling everywhere. And one of the best events I've been to.
Put yours right up there with it. Most people I talked to said that Prometheus brought some fire.
Well, that's the thing, man. You never know when you're, like myself, I don't get out. I don't go see people a lot. So, there's not a lot of opportunities for me to put out there and see how my product is. So we talked about this last time at Clio. I hadn't had a chance to really have anybody try my weed besides me and Miss Prometheus, who, she's a trooper, man. She takes it just like anybody else, man. I challenge her against anybody to stand up, man. She's had to put up with a lot of fire from me. So, but yeah, you don't get a chance to really try out and see how good you are. And yeah, I was standing amongst a lot of heavy hitters, man, and got a lot of respect, and it really touched me a lot. It really gave me a lot of insight to where I've come from, where I'm going, and makes a big difference. It's a big boost for your ego, but it also lets you justify and validate what you've been doing, man. Yeah, we had a great time, man. It was fantastic. 2 solid days, and it was nothing but great people. I mean, there's a lot of big egos, but everybody left them at the door. You know what I mean? And you were able to show off what you're doing, talk about what you're doing, what kind of impact it's having. And it was really great to be able to take that community from IG and bring it into real life, man. So, but it was really good. I needed it. I'd been working like a 6 week stretch every day, and it was my first couple days off. They weren't happy to see me take them, but I had to go, man. I had to be there.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there myself, and the more I talk to each of you guys that have been there, I have like, man, I really messed up by not going. Really messed up. I should have, you know, I was busy, but I should have taken time out to hang. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, you
You
would have
gotta,
enjoyed it. I mean, definitely would have enjoyed it, but you got to do what you got to do, And there's how many events have gone by that you were like, oh man, I wish I would have been to that event, or oh man, could have that would have been something, but you know.
I usually don't miss too many. I really don't miss a whole lot. I mean, there's a few here and there, but man, I love the events. I love the community. I love everything that you said that you found at the event. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's oh man, it's just that for me, it's that break where you can just kind of let down your guard, hang out amongst good people, and talk about
exactly.
something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, yeah.
Truly, I truly needed it, but I wish I would have went. Things just didn't line up, I guess.
No, I understand
I'm
completely,
so
man. I understand completely, and it's just one of those things. So
I'm so
I recently had over 500 followers on my IG site, which probably some people think, 500 followers, I get that in a day or whatever. But to me, it was a big deal. So I want to do something here tonight, if you don't mind, man.
oh heck no.
I want to
Heck
give
no.
away some seeds if we can do that.
Anytime. Anytime. You know how much I like to give away.
Yeah, but we
Sugar
won't make it.
is
We
the
won't
way I
make
get
it too
around here.
crazy, man. We won't make it too wild here. We want to have some fun here tonight.
Appreciate that. I'm sure everybody else does too. Still working on getting my doobie rolled up. I wasn't ready. I was not
Yeah,
ready.
well, get that sucker going, man. Come on.
Just a spin away. Just a spin away.
No, I hear you. I'm in the number two already, man. So
Yeah. Now I
no, but
feel.
the
Now I definitely feel like I'm slacking.
yeah, no, I understand. Let me see if I can share my screen here. See how good I am here. If I can do it, I'm gonna see if I can show you a couple garden pics real quick.
Here, let me there you go. You should be able to share now. I have to
All right.
okay it. Zoom's a butthead.
Let me
Zoom
see
be a
what I
little
can
bit of
do
a
here. All right. Let me see here. We'll see if that comes across. Give it a second here for the delay. I can't really tell. Can you see it?
I can. What I'm curious, what's the thing hooking the two earth boxes together? Is that just a lock that kind of keeps them together, or what's that
Right
do?
there.
Yep.
That's a temp stick. That just gives me my indications for my temperature and my humidity. So it works pretty well. It's nice. It works off the Wi-Fi, so I could check anywhere. That's Northern Lights number 5 times White Widow on the left and some strawberry cough on the right.
Those sound very delicious.
Yeah, they're only into like the second week of flower right now, but they're doing their thing.
What size totes are we or pots are we looking at? Where we looking
Oh,
at
those are
there?
27 gallon, man, but they feel like 100 pounds when they've got, the rocks on the bottom and the layers of the dirt. And, they'll retain moisture, man. That's the one thing I like about them is they retain a core of moisture down in the lower areas. And they really do a good job of keeping the moisture up to where every 2 days I'm putting approximately half a gallon of water in, which is not bad. So this is Afghani right here, and this is Trainwreck. And these are some. Go ahead, man.
I was gonna say I always love me some Trainwreck. It's always a good heavy hitter in my book.
I'm a classic guy, man. I'm really big about the classic strains, you know. This is some Jack Hare. I had one that hermed on me, but you know, that happens. It was right after I flipped the flower. And then over here is some Blue Dream also. So I'm really big on the classic strains. Really big. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm doing a little bit of a dabbling into some breeding.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, I'm a former veteran, and I think it's important that people like veterans are able to have free access or ready access to their medicine when they need it. And I want to be able to put some gear out there that'll allow people to start learning how to grow on their own. And it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg to do it, you know, and just some basic genetics that will give them the relief that they want, you know, and it's not going to cost them an arm and a leg to figure out what works for them, what doesn't work for them.
So now I guess I can finish the story. I kind of teased it a little bit.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Tell us.
Oh, I got shit all over my shirt. Look at that. That's
nice, man.
It is.
It's not a lot of shirt to get stuff on, but you did it, man.
I managed to get toothpaste all over that thing. Yeah,
you did good, man.
So I was basically, this is how we got back to Prometheus soil.
Yeah.
I was in getting my shirts printed up, and the gentleman, Ultimate Exposures, Randy there, we get talking about cannabis a little bit. He's asking me, you know, about the show. Hands me some cards. He's like, yeah, I met this guy as well. And he hands me a card and it says, vets are seeds for vets or vets for seeds. One of the two. I had the card. I meant to grab the card. It's in my truck.
Yeah, it's Boots to Roots.
Boots to Roots. There you go. And I think, man, I love the idea of this. You know, I love supporting vets and cannabis. You know, I feel that I've always said that, you know, cannabis helps vets quite a bit, but man, the risk that they have, you know, a lot of them risk it, you know what I mean? They risk their benefits and all that shit to have cannabis. So, and I think it's the much better medicine than a lot of stuff that you guys are unfortunately offered. So it didn't take but a half a second to look at that card and go, yeah, this is something I want to I want to help, you know what I mean? I want to see if I get these guys on the show. So I make the call, and who do I get? I start going through my normal show spiel. Hey, I got this card and I'd like to get you on the show, and the voice on the other side pretty much says, shut the hell up, Eagle. I recognize your voice. This is fucking Prometheus soil.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. So tell us a little bit about Boots to Roots, how that got going and what's going on there.
Well, like I said, you know, I got back into cannabis myself. A lot of it had to do with, you know, from when I was in my teenage years, I suffered a lot of depression then, PTSD from the military service. And it's something I never really understood until I got into medical myself, and you can start applying some of your knowledge to what you do and what happens to you. And I started realizing I have these things going on in my life, and I've gotten myself diagnosed with it. But I realize there's a lot of people not as fortunate as me to be able to have the resources I have. And, you know, there's a lot of threats out there now where they're starting to look at taking away medical from people, or the ability for caregivers to be as readily available to their patients and their clients, you know. So I wanted to do something back because I know how much it has benefited me, but I'm not about trying to make money off of this. You know, it's not what it's about. You know, it's not like, hey, there's a great market. You know, there's people that need, we can make some money off this. That's not what this is about. What it's about is, you know, giving back. I want to try to take as much middleman as I can out of it so that there's not a lot of overhead, so that any cost burden will come off of me, you know, the cost of the grow, the cost of the genetics to get started. But I'm looking at trying to sell it like $2 a bean, man, to get out to people's hands so they can get in there and say, you know, I'm not going to be held up by the cost of genetics. You know, this isn't going to be, you know, cannabis cup genetics, man. You know, if you want that, go pay $100, go pay $150 for 10 beans, you know, and you might get there. But if you want, you know, good medicine that'll get to you, this is what I'm trying to put out there. And anything that I make off of it, I want to either just support the site or be able to show that I'm giving back to veterans on a monthly basis. You know, it's not about, you know, myself. It's about helping other people. So, you know, and there's a lot of ways you can help by just saying, well, I'm not just putting that out there. I'm trying to get back whatever I get off of it out there also. So it might piss off some people, you know, putting, you know, low budget gear down there, but I don't want price to be the thing, you know. You know, you go to an event like I did last week, man, people are giving stuff away to you, you know, here, take this, you know, that's the way this community is, man, it's giving. So I want to keep that spirit going on, but that's what that was all about. This is an idea that I've been doing for a while. And those cards, I had those printed on the fly before Clio last year. So my big thing is right now is just getting to learn how to put a site together where I can have availability. But I'm still a ways out. You know, I'm growing those plants down in my garden right now to test out the cultivars, see how they taste, how they are, you know. And then I'll go ahead and decide what I'm looking for pheno-wise from what I'm seeing right now and pick out what I want on my next run with those, and I'll breed with those. So I'm probably going to cross them with the skunk male. So what do you think, man?
I think it's awesome, man. It's definitely a cause I think a lot of people should help get behind. Some, even some breeders, you know, that actually have some maybe testers or something like that to, you know, maybe possibly donate to the cause and help, you know, get things rolling. You know,
I would
I think
definitely be
everybody
behind
should
it,
grow it.
but they gotta understand, man, it's not about profit, you know. Anything I make off of it besides maybe like 10% goes back to feeding the cost of the site, you know, and that's it. I don't want to make a single penny off of this, man. I don't want to make a single penny. You know, and I think that way you keep it pure, you keep it honest, and you're doing it for the purpose only. And you don't start thinking about cutting corners to save dollars here or anything like that, you know?
Holy shit. Keith and Keith and Chief says we need to put out some heart and prayers for Stony Baker MD, who try to shout out every night. Says he had a stroke and is currently in a coma.
Oh,
So
God,
yeah,
that's not good.
everybody, please
Yeah,
send out
prayers,
some
man.
hearts and prayers. Jeez, I hate to hear that, man. For real.
Yeah, but that's what Boots to Roots is, man. It's just a thing that's coming from my heart, you know, and I'm not obsessing over it in the sense that I'm, you know, I can't dedicate every minute I'm doing, you know. I mean, I work 60 plus hours a week, man, but you know, I'm actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some probably 12-week, maybe even 14-week strains here. And it'll give me some time to back off the garden for a while. And then I can concentrate on learning how to do WordPress and shit. So I've always been that kind of person where if I need to do something, I'll learn to do it myself and I'll figure it out, you know. You know what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah, I definitely love the idea and definitely behind you 100%. Anything I can help you with along the way, brother, feel free to ask, man.
Yeah, we're
Don't
getting
even
there.
think twice.
Yeah, I've got logos made up and I've got stuff, you know, laid out, but you know, I want to take it slow. I don't want to rush to it and fuck it up because it's, you know, an urge to get there and be there. You know, I'd rather do it correctly, get some ties out there to some organizations where I could start pushing money. I want to show on a monthly basis, man, how much we're putting out, you know, how much is given back to organizations. You know, it makes people feel good about it then, you know. So when you think about it, it's like practically giving the gear away, you know?
That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. I'm glad that you had the heart and the sense to put something together, or the want to put something together like this. Cheers to you, brother, for real.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But you know, I'm not the kind of person that looks to try to get the light shined on them. It's not about me, man. You know what I mean?
No, it's about what you're trying to do. Your heart's in the right place, and
Yeah.
in order for the thing to work, to be honest with you, Prometheus, people have to know how to. You say don't put the spotlight on me. People need to know how to reach out and get a hold of you if they need the help with the genetics. The people need
Yep.
to know how to know about what you're doing. So if there are breeders, wink, wink, I see a couple in the chat
Mm-hmm.
who want to help out and donate a little bit of gear, to keep things rolling. You know, it's a worthy cause. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I did the seed adventure there for a few years, the vets were always my biggest honor. I can't get over this spot on my shirt. The vets were one of my biggest honors to go see and help out, man. There,
Mm-hmm.
I've said this story before, man, about the pamphlet, the seed pamphlet that went around a unit up here in northern Michigan. You know what I mean? And every time I seen that pamphlet, and they'd tell me, I got
I'm
this
not
from
very
a
good with the
brother.
camera here, man. I'm trying to get something on. There it is. Can of clean. Sorry, brother. I saw her in the chat. I had to give a shout out.
He deserves a shout out. Yeah. So
Go ahead, man. I interrupted you.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, no. I was just saying that it was always an honor to be able to help the vets. When I'd meet up with them and I'd see that pamphlet, it was always the same. I got this from a brother. He said that you were a trustworthy source of, good genetics and stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
I always thought it was a huge honor that I was that call. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
respect in what dumb guys do, and when they call you and say, somebody that they've respected spoke of you highly, then you know,
Mm-hmm.
got to do, got to live up to that. Got to live up to that. And it's always an honor to hear the stories and offer some great genetics. But I'm glad your heart's in the right place. So I'd love to help get behind this and get the word out and help you in
Yeah.
any kind of way because I like I said earlier, man, I just feel like a lot of you guys, you fight for our countries for whatever reason. If you agree with it, you don't agree with it, you still go out there and do what needs to be done. And then a lot of times when you come home with a lot of issues and this and that, you shouldn't be denied the best care. And if
No.
cannabis is the shoe that fits for the best care versus a lot of these other medications that, you know, have so many other side effects, then that should be top of the list. You shouldn't be an issue of, oh, you're going to lose everything you fought for the
Yeah.
country and this. Yeah, no, that shouldn't be a thing. shouldn't even be a forethought. I mean, that shouldn't.
No.
No,
There's a lot of
no.
things in this world that are backwards, man, and that's one of them. You know, people like that, they shouldn't have to question that sort of thing. When you think, you know, you give up your rights, you give up your ability to make your own decisions for a period of your life, you get sent to shitty places to do shitty things, and shitty things happen to you, man. And you know, you shouldn't have to worry about that on the backside, you know?
I agree 100%. So I'm like I said, I'm glad that there's folks out there like yourself that are, trying to get around and do the proper thing. So
Yeah,
shout
you
out
know,
to you, bro.
this is something I'm trying to take, you know, the proper steps with it. I want to, you know, test this gear out. I want to see what works. I mean, I don't want to throw out a whole bunch of crap. You know, I want to make sure there's stuff that's got viability there. So, you know, before I could put my own stuff out, yeah, it's going to take a little bit. But, you know, if somebody wanted to join in and throw something out there, I would love to start, you know, have a kick in the ass to get me motivated to get the site up, you know. So I can definitely see that happening.
So are there any strains in the works currently?
For what?
There any ladies already impregnated? Is there
Oh
some
no,
things
not
already kind of in the
intentionally yet.
works?
You know, if anybody got pregnant down there, man, it was on their own volition. You know how they are, man. But no, I had I just got done running this stuff. I only came across two males out of about 30 beans. I had one herm on me. So, you know, and I had to ended up pitching, I think, like 5 or 6 plants. So, you know, in order to get what I wanted to grow out. And I've got one right now that's already peaking beyond 40 inches tall. That's one of those NL5 times White Widow crosses.
So is the NL White Widow? Does it have any of that pine to it at all? That
I'm getting a lot of the rubbery, but that's sometimes that's where your pine will come out from also. See, that's another thing I'm looking to do. I want to talk to you about going back to like 1970s type weed stories. Can you talk those stories?
Oh, not really, because in the 1970s, I was only like knee high, brother.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. I understand, but this is like Michigan weed lore here, okay? Have you ever heard of a strain called monkey paw?
Of course, of course.
All right, so you know what I'm talking about, the Michigan angle behind it and everything, right?
Pretty much, but
Yeah, that's
feel
my
free to
unicorn
refresh
strain.
others.
Yeah, that's my unicorn
That's
strain, man. Because I had that stuff when I was like 16 years old, you know, going back 40 years and stuff, you know. I would love to be able to grow something like that.
I've seen it in a few shops around here, but I've always doubted its authenticity, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm chasing a dream or a memory, and it could be pretty, you know, it's shiny as I make it in my head. You know what I mean?
Even that era, that good era of Monkey Paw, I honestly remember my father speaking of it. You know what I mean? As
Yep.
I was growing up, them Sunday sessions with all of his buddies. Oh man, I got some of that Monkey Paw, Monkey Paw. And that's honestly, man. I wish you know we could do that more nowadays. You know, but man, that used to be the thing, man. This little group every Sunday. Every Sunday would be that burn down, and his buddy Major would stop by.
Mm-hmm.
Major was always the cat with the music scene. You know what I mean? He always had
Yeah.
like the new album or what was new. He'd show up on Sunday with a new vinyl, throw
Mm-hmm.
it on, and I'd be asked to go play outside, of course.
Of
But
course.
man,
Get
they
out of
would
here.
create, yeah. crank that music up to whatever was playing, whatever major brought that week, and man, they would get totally just baked. Good classic sesh, man. Back in the
Yep.
day when they had the speakers that were like this tall, you know what I mean? And if you wanted to go, you would just drag them outside. You just throw the speaker
I
wires
traveled
outside,
around the
put the
world
mic
with a
up.
big giant set of Harman Kardons that were like 4 feet tall, man. When I was in the military, everybody had that sort of thing. Yeah.
These little speakers, I still don't think, they sound good, they're loud, but I don't believe they had the quality as the old, house speaker, the giant house speaker.
Something to be said about a 10-pound magnet, you're going to get some sound out of it.
So were you able to? I mean, was that your era? I don't mean to
Oh,
sound
hell yeah,
silly
man.
here, but
No, no, no.
was
I got
did
my
you have
cherry
some of that
pop.
monkey paw?
Yeah, I got my cherry pop with Cannabis back in like 1974, 75. I tell people that, the 70s were so great with all the double albums and double live albums that would come out because, the weed we got, man, it was chock full of seeds. You got lots of seeds. And those double albums were really good for cleaning pot real quick. So I remember breaking up a lot of half ounces and ounces on Frampton Comes Alive and Silver Bullet Live, things like that, Kiss Alive. Yeah. But yeah, that's the time when we used to have $40 ounces that were four finger. A lot of brown weed. There was some gold, which I wonder now, how the heck did that happen, man? That was a weird pheno, huh?
Definitely, definitely.
You don't see too much of
So
that.
evergreen, no, I've only seen it once, to be honest with you. Once when I was roughly 17-ish.
Yeah,
Gal
that's about the
had
time
moved
frame, man.
down. Gal boy moved down to Tennessee for a while, and then came back up for a visit and had some gold cannabis with her. And it just looked so foreign to me. I smoked it with
I
like
know.
caution, to be honest with you. I was
We
like,
looked
oh,
at it
this
weird
shit can't
ourselves,
be
man.
right.
Yeah, we looked at it weird ourselves, but yeah, I was able to enjoy Monkey Paw probably like 4 out of 5 years as I was going through high school. And you was always like I said, you were paying $40 ounces, but when Monkey Paw came around, they would be like, no, that's 75. And you'd be like, this is $1976, man. That's like telling somebody, what you're paying 20, you're going to be paying, or 40, you're be paying, close to 100 now. But when you got a hold of it, man, was it worth it? And it was supposed to have been like originating out of like Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area. But see, here's the thing I want to
So
ask you. I want to ask you a question about old marijuana strains. How long do you think they grew those out? Were they always outdoor grows? Was it always the long harvest?
I think I for the longest time up until the 80s, wasn't it mostly outdoors? And they started being chased out of the outdoors and had to go into the indoors.
That's why I think
Late
some of
70s,
these,
early 80s.
long week strains are where the key is to getting those all day highs we used to get from that stuff.
I agree with that. I mean, that's for me. The sativas carry that. The longer run strains carry that, and
Yeah.
that's this area dependent though. But I'm a firm believer about letting my strains go the distance overall anyway. Here,
Oh
even
yeah.
indoors.
Oh yeah. I stopped trying to tell my plants what to do a while back, man. I take
I
my
think a
cues.
lot of these newer growers try to go by the trichomes and what they hear for peak flavor, and they miss out on a lot of that swell. I think a lot of newer growers don't even know what the final week swell is all about, to be honest
No,
with you. That you
not
don't
until you
see
experience
until
it.
a little bit later.
Yeah, not until you experience it. I mean, you get some hardness in that from curing at times, but not the swell, man. And you got to be able to have the patience to do that. And a lot of times it's all about numbers when you're first getting into growing cannabis, you know. How many harvests can I get done in a year? After a while, you realize how many good harvests can I get out of a year? That's what it comes down to. You know, not flipping the flower right at, week 4, week 6, whatever, you know, on your schedule. But look at the plants, and when they start to get into pre-flower, then you can start talking about flipping the flower, you know. But I grow nothing but regs now, so I'm always sexing my plants. You know what that's all about.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a process that I mind, to be honest with you. The more you do it, the easier it is to identify earlier and earlier. So I want to ask Evergreen Hayes in chat here is asking, does Prometheus know Pincani Paralyzer? I heard the original is gone. My dad had it at one point.
What's it called?
The Pincani Paralyzer. I've heard of it too. Never smoked it.
No, no. See, well, I dropped off of the weed scene in 1981 when I joined the military, man. There were a couple times I dabbled when I was in the service, but other than that, there wasn't any talk about it. I didn't hear about it. So like there's like a dark ages for me, until I got back out of the military in the early 90s. And then I had a, tech experience and was working tech jobs, making way too much money, and I was going through probably quarter pound every 2 weeks. You know,
That's a good smoke, man.
yeah,
That's fun. That's a puffin, man.
we
That is
were we
puffin.
were dedicated, man. We were dedicated. This was when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. Yeah.
I mean, I'm there. I'm there. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm probably right about at that pace currently, to be honest with
Well,
you.
I don't
Which
keep count during the day. You know what
little
I mean? I just treat each day as a different day, right?
right. Well, it's you don't even worry about it any after you've grown for a while. I mean, to put a
Yep.
number on what I smoke, I don't even want to think. I don't want to even
Exactly.
think about it, to be honest with you,
Hmm.
because then I would have to put some kind of number or dollar amount on it. That would be staggering.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's just it, though. What would it fetch? That's another question too, right?
Well, we talked about this the other day, and that's the actual buying of it too, man. And once you start growing it, and you realize how much you're saving, and then what you were paying for before you started growing, it's like, oh
Hmm.
man, this is a joke. I used to think
Oh,
this was really good.
now I have never stepped inside a dispensary, man, and I hope I never have to. And that's one
Never
of my
ever.
no, and that's one of my goals, man. That's one of the reasons why I want to help out veterans, man. I don't want them to have to be a slave to that. It's not the best quality going through there, and that's because it's a numbers game, man. You know?
They don't offer that much. A lot of them do, thankfully, offer vets some sort of discount. Thank goodness for
Can
that.
you even go inside these days, man, with the coof or what?
Don't know. I haven't been in so long, to be honest with you.
See, that's what I'm
The last
saying,
time
man.
I last time I actually went to an actual provisioning center and
Yeah.
not a club.
Mm-hmm.
I pop into Vehicle City occasionally. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in Genesee County area, visit friends and see what some caregivers are running and have offer. There are some great caregivers that offer some amazing product there.
Yeah.
So why not pop in and support a local caregiver? That's the way I
Yeah.
see it. If I'm going to buy
Mm-hmm.
something, I'm going to support a caregiver before before I go to the provisioning center. But the last
Mm-hmm.
time it was probably right about what it was. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
pulled up. It was right on the highway, right off the highway. Might as well have been a drive-through. You know what I mean? Didn't
Mm-hmm.
know I couldn't go in. They ran out, right out to the truck. Took my money, ran in, ran back. I never got to look at any of the product. It was uh, laminated menu with a crayon, basically.
Wow.
Circle what you want.
Yeah.
You give it to the lady, and she runs off and grabs it and comes back. And it's like, and it was exactly what you would think you would get from, like, say, a drive-through type service. What they say in the movies about the drive-through? They always fuck you in the
They
drive-through.
always
That's
fuck
pretty
you in the
much
drive-through, man.
that's what I got, man. That's what I got. I got
They give
fucked in the
you
drive-through.
they give you shitty made food now and no napkins, sons of bitches. Like, what am I
Oh
supposed
man,
to do, man? Wipe my face with a bag? What the hell, man?
it's more or less wipe my tears with the bag because,
No
man, I
doubt.
actually, it was bad, man. Yeah, they definitely got me. The pre rolls, the couple pre rolls I got, because I forgot to accurately judge the trip with my pre rolls. You know what I mean? I was headed back where
I've
I
heard your
basically.
pre-roll stories, man. I like your pre-roll stories. Usually they're quick disappointment within 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, that was terrible. And I had bought both the regular, it was a Blue Dream $10, and then I
Yeah.
got what was they were calling their Fire Stick. Ooh, the Fire Stick, and that was, I believe, the Blue Dream, and it was supposed to be like a moon rock. It was supposed to be the Blue Dream, and then it was supposed to be rolled in Blue Dream oil, and then rolled in Blue Dream Key. It was terrible. It was actually worse
We
than
fucked with
the
your weed so many
terrible
ways.
pre-roll. It was terrible. Yeah, so I don't, unless you have to grow
Yeah.
your own, and accurately judge your trip.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Like I said, I swore off the idea that I would go into a dispensary. Let's see if I can't show off a little of my wares here. Find something where the
Oh man, you had brought some beautiful buds to fly off the
yeah.
last time I got to see you.
Thank you, man. That's appreciated. You get a little look there, man. That's some super silver haze. I don't trim very well because I'm a flower smoker, man, and I don't really care. My bag of peel is when it's in the rolling paper. You know what I mean? But yeah, I took my good buds
Cool.
last weekend, man. I apologize. These aren't all the real classic beauties, but you can see some of the frost on them there. There you go. I'm flickering all over the place here. Sorry. You get an idea. There you go. That's some Afghan. I like growing, like I said, I like growing classic strains, you know? I think there's too
So
much
what's
of
the
a.
heavy hitter in the garden currently?
Currently, I think it's going to be
Yeah.
that NL5 times White Widow, man. I think that's going to be the big one, man. There's going to be a lot of it too, but yeah, it looks good. It's got great structure. Yeah, I'm already having to turn one over and start growing horizontal with it. I'd say it's probably about 40, 42 inches tall right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I've dealt
Nice,
with that though,
nice.
man. I dealt with that with the purple haze. That got to be almost about 60 inches tall, man. You know,
She flower or veg right now at that height.
we're in the stretch. You know, I mean,
All right.
that's the only real bitch about the way I grow is with my containers. I try to grow a couple plants per container. Okay, so it's like loading up the bus. You want to try to get as much onto the bus as you can. You don't want to be staggering too much. And, you know, I like to just do my hard work on a couple days, and the rest is pretty much lazy gardener, you know? So,
You know, to be honest with you, that's what I really admire about the totes and the earth boxes. If
yeah,
I were to like go full bore, which would be crazy at this point, man, I've got so many pots on pots on pots around here from the many stages and years of growing, man. I think I've got like 50 fabric pots, 50 fucking air pots, uh, just you
they're
name all
nice.
through the things. To switch over to like the heavy buckets or something,
Yeah,
or even totes would be almost insane. I can see the value in it. I love the way they like the way in your tent there in your little area, how nice and tight that was.
yeah.
Two per to container seems to be about the right, and everything, like I said, a nice tight, space where nothing's being wasted in a tent. I can appreciate that.
I try to make it as simple as I can on myself. I don't want to have to be devoting the entire day. I like to go down there, but I like it to be looking, maybe defoliating. But the hard work, I've got to mix up amendments here this week. But that's, I'm going to do it for 6 containers, boom, get it done. And then I'll move on to, getting my soil ready to sit for another 8 weeks, before I'll be ready to pop that into flower. And that's all I use those containers for is for flower. I don't use them to veg in that much. I veg for 1 week post transplant and then flip them right to flower, man. But they've been through sexing and they're probably 4 to 6 weeks in a 2 gallon pot already, So,
Uh,
I had 27 of those in a 8x4 and it was getting there, So you can't, unless you got the real estate and really have it set up nicely, it's hard to really go through and do any real serious pheno hunting or anything like that.
it would be it's still I can I'm telling you, I can appreciate everything being all nice and tight and intense. I always
Yep.
look at them pots in that bare spot and think, group or something right there. Even if
Yeah.
it's like, a 3 gallon on a 3 gallon empty pot. You know what I mean? Double stack to make up that
Oh,
little
I hear you.
space there.
I hear you, man. But see, with almost 30 gallons of soil, you can actually work a little environment in each one, you know? And I'm able to maintain root structure from one grow to another. So it's like a little biosphere in each container. But 30 gallons
So
seems to be the ticket, man. They got to have enough space and enough to where they can ride out for 8 weeks with just the best possible opportunities. My potting soil is nothing to sneeze at either, man. I trick it up a little bit, and it's the stuff I pull out from the pots after they're grown. So whatever leftover amendments is going into my potting soil, it's just tweaked down. That's all.
bio available. First up, first up availability, I would think. You pass them a little more microbes to the new
It's
stuff. I
awesome,
would
man.
think it's
After doing this for 2 years now, it's really working really great. I have no complaints at all. And it's not that labor intensive either.
you use any kind of secret sauce on top of good soil? Are you using any teas or anything
No,
of the likes?
no, I got to where I'm using the worst part about making teas for me was using molasses in it, and it was just sticky, nasty, hard to work with. So I actually said, screw it. I got flake molasses and I put it right into the soil. So it's in there now. I don't have to worry about that aspect. But what I do is I add microbes, man. I'm big, big, big about microbes. You've got to get those amendments usable for the plant. And that's how I do it. I give them a micro feeding every week.
Where do you actually pick up some like molasses flakes? Like, can you pick it up in person? Because
No,
that
you get
sounds
it on
fairly
Amazon.
appealing to me. I actually use molasses, a lot of molasses anyway,
Hmm.
throughout my whole phase, through veg, through flower, all through that phase.
Yeah. No,
But like you said, it can be messy. It can be
I hate
messy.
it. I hated it, man. And I said, there's
But
got to
if I
be a
could
better
mix up
way.
my water and just like, yeah, throw in some flakes and be done with it, just give it an extra minute to soften up the flakes and let them dissolve.
I put it
What
into
a
the
better
soil.
route.
I put it into the soil. Let them work on it all the time instead of having to mix it up or do anything to it. Let it be worked on in the soil itself. That's what I do. I put in roughly 2 cups into each tote there. And I got mine's a subcool mix with a little bit of Coots and a little bit of medically fit. I'm really in tune with what he's doing. I love what he does with soil. But when you get to a certain point, it's just about tweaking here and tweaking there. I don't think I have too much that I have to mess around with. It's definitely a super soil. It definitely needs to sit for a while to let things start to work so that it's not extremely hot. But and I've tried to use it quick, and literally you'll get burned. Your plants will for a little bit, but you learn to do things in a cycle. But yeah, I'm very big about listening to the plants, man. So I figure on 8 to 9 weeks to flower, but if it takes 10 or 11, that's what it takes.
I used to actually when I used the super soil, I'd always leave a nice super hot mix in the bottom and then leave a layer of my like older mix in the on top. So it'd be like a
Yeah.
hot layer, then like a 2 inch layer of my old stuff. Then I'd transplant in some newer, gentler stuff. Sometimes maybe even just older stuff on
Yeah, I'm
top of the
always
super
adding
soil
biochar and
tops.
worm castings along with the other amendments that I put in. And I like to get in there with, I used to homebrew, so I have a shitload of grain that's been, it's in food saver bags, for forever, but it's all sealed up. And what I do is I take it out and I crack it and I throw a couple cups of that in there also. And that helps out with the microbes too.
You brew it all?
No, just throw it in. I get
Huh?
some barley that grows on it sometimes, but I'm like, oh well, cover crop a little bit. But I do all kinds of stuff like rice hulls. Let me see what else. Hummus is a big thing, man. I think a lot of people miss out on the benefit of that. It's a nice medium grade for aeration. I like the way it works. I hate perlite, but I always get it in my M3 mix. I've always gotten it in that, so I just scoop it off the top.
I spoke of because I've got so many different soils, or it's hard for me to even call them soil. I just because there's so much stuff that's not naturally in soil. You go up and dig
Mhm.
up, in your yard. It's not a lot of that shit. But I do have I think it's like 4 pots, the big cans here. I got 4 of those cans full of the M3, bag M3 in each one of those
I like that soil.
on
It's,
top.
it's a nice base.
You know, everything is green. They look good. They grew up pretty well. But again, the only thing I didn't like about the M3, you know, and the plants are happy. They seem to be loving it, but I don't like the perlite, the
Yeah,
Vicolite that's in it.
yeah.
You know, that's
I
that's the only downside.
I came into a large cache of Bio 365, and I'm looking forward to adding that into my mix to start to slowly purge out the perlite. But yeah, perlite serves a purpose. You know, it's just one of those things, man. You know, kind of like the seagulls of the beach. You know what I mean? They serve a purpose. They're annoying, but you know, it wouldn't be the beach without them anyway. You know, it's a way to look at it, I guess.
The only one that I haven't got to, I've been looking to get in here, the Detroit Nutrients, water only. I want to try that in this this run as well. But I
Water
don't know.
only.
Yeah, the Detroit Nutrients, water only.
Yeah, I've tried his worm castings. They're fantastic, man. I love his products. I think he's a great guy. He's really a nice guy. And I'm all about local, man. All about helping out local. You know. So let me put something out here, man. I know I mentioned seeds before. What I'm going to tell people to do is just send me a DM on my Instagram, and I'll go ahead and have Miss Prometheus pick 5 winners. But the special thing is, if anybody can figure out what my very first handle on IG was and send it to me in a DM, the first person to do that, I'll send them 10 green crack fem seeds.
That's a
So
score.
if you can figure out the Prometheus history there, I'll throw that out to it.
That's asking to see your beautiful guitars in the background. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not playing right now, man. My hands are beat up. I'm on the computer all day, every day, man. So
Well, I don't believe they were asking for that. I think they just wanted to take a look to see what you had hanging there.
oh, I have that's Ibanez, and I really love the mother of pearl inlay around it. This is one of the latest ones. It's a 59 reissue Epiphone. It's got all the original 59 pickups and wiring and capacitors and such. And that, I don't know if you can see the Telecaster there. That's a custom that I picked up from a person, but it's a custom made Telecaster with some real nice pickups and a beautiful neck on it. So, but I play bass, I play guitar, but not as much as I'd like to.
Well, you
Never
obviously
enough
take
time,
it
man.
serious to have those gems hanging behind you. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
but they're there for me to do if I want. You know what I mean? And there's been a few times where it's just been, man, I need a few minutes here. You know, do what you got to do. But yeah, like I said, you know, it affords me the ability to do some things. So
It's like beautiful.
well, I don't think you should keep things hidden away either. You know, if they look nice. You know. But that's just my opinion about it.
So when is the next event that I could possibly run into Prometheus on?
Oh, it would be extremely likely it would be on the 420 Expo up at Mount Pleasant, man. Definitely going to be there. It's close
That's
enough.
in June, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's not far. That's not far for me.
No, and we're going back up north again in September where we were before. So, I mean, you know, that's a definite, man. It's a whole week. We can definitely connect together on that, you know.
I just seen a cat yesterday in the Walmart across the lake there,
Mm-hmm.
with a Bigfoot Lodge T-shirt on. And I almost ran over there. Hey man,
Yeah, we want to go to that
Gotta
event too.
ask, man.
Yeah, we want to go to that
Is
event
that
too.
that's a fun one, man. You should definitely make it up that way.
I couldn't do it last year because it was we were raging through everything, and I had to work. So
Understand and respect that.
well, it is what it is, man. I used to work my ass off when I worked in the hospital. With working from home, it's like going to school online, man. Everybody thinks it's easy, but they give you twice as much to do, really. If you're set to work a certain time and things aren't done, it's like, hey, I'm supposed to be getting off, and they're like, and what's your point? You've got to get this work done, man. So you can't say no. That's the only bad thing about it. I don't really have a lot of ability to say no except for ethical things. So run into that kind of stuff. But
So I think I might have asked you this before, but
yeah.
how is the current view of cannabis in the medical industry? Are we starting to make a little bit of headway?
Um,
Are
I
physicians
don't
starting to at least open up and consider it in some aspects in a more general way?
I don't think you're going to see anything done study wise that's going to be super dramatic unless they're really going to try to push for federal legalization. You know, but it's still not accepted because it can't be scrutinized enough and homogenized. In order for them to be embracing it, it has to be homogenized. And what I mean by that is I have to have you grow it the same way I grow it so that it comes out the same way. The same way Budweiser brews in St. Louis, down in Florida, all these different places are able to brew the same beer, the same way, the same taste every time. That's the only way you're going to see it probably approved for medicinals if they can replicate it, unless you take like just the THC,
Well, with that
or
being said, the
whatever other
pharmaceuticals that
component.
they dish out don't affect us all in the same way.
Hmm?
You might. I said, with that being said, though, I mean, I can appreciate what you're saying there. So there's
Hmm.
some type of common ground to work off of
It
there.
has to
But
be.
the common ground that you currently have has such a wide variety of effects on each individual as much as cannabis would have, and any
Yep.
coming from a variety of gardens. I think the
Yep.
rest is really the same, to be honest with you, as
Well,
far as
I'm just
possible
saying what it
side
would take
effects.
because you have to have some level of purity. You have to have some level of consistency. Now,
I can understand.
let me give you my little counter note about that. Okay, you're hearing about a lot of problems with vaccines right now. We're having these little unexpected side effects. You see what I'm saying? And you got 4 different versions, and how are you supposed to feel when you go something like that and think, which one should I get? The one that might give me a stroke, the one that might give me blood clots, which one, or the one that they haven't told me yet is the one they're going to pull next week. That's the bitch about it. That's what I'm saying is we don't have that kind of purity. Like if I were to prescribe, have, like, let's say you got prescribed just a simple thing like a Benadryl. You're going to get the same thing on the West Coast as you are on the East Coast. It's a common thing. This is how you make it. This is what you use. You don't get some wild variation. You don't get like Santa Cruz Benadryl. You know what I mean?
Well, and so, you walked into this. You
I
walked
know.
into this.
No, I could walk right back out, man. But go ahead.
No. Well, you just spoke of like I don't even like to say the words, but that the vaccine, the four different varieties, and
Mm-hmm.
the problems that they're having with it. Cannabis, I don't care if it's West Coast Benadryl.
Yeah.
I don't feel like lives will be lost in a rush. You know what I mean? And here we talk about these four possibilities. I'm not even going to say anything but more than that. But
Yeah.
that haven't been tested, and doctors across the country are like, "Come here," you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
cannabis, the research isn't there. Even though you're saying that it's genetically pure, or you have an even ground, it isn't tested. It isn't. That's a whole nother subject. Whole
Yep.
nother subject I don't want to go
Mm-hmm.
down. But
I
I'm
understand.
just basically, um, I think I understand about what you're saying about the consistency, the nice have a nice consistency. But I guess what my question, moreover, was, are
Mm-hmm.
they at least starting to wake up to the possibilities? And then I want to also throw this on there because you threw on, and I know this is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Until at least the government says that they're able to at least prescribe it freely. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
And not have to worry about losing their license and all
Mm-hmm.
that other stuff that they risk just like anybody else,
Yeah.
that they can, necessarily feel good about prescribing it. But within that same aspect, this is where I worry about. And I've said this from the beginning, and I know this is a little bit of fear mongering, but
Mm-hmm.
since you know how the system works, maybe you can see this point as I do.
I know how part of the
The way
system works.
I'm scared to death of Breck, to be honest with you. I
Scared
want
of
to
what?
see that step square. I'm scared of Rec
Mm-hmm.
being pushed forward as fast as it is. I'm more along the lines with like Captain 420 there, where it should just be, just taken off the books, not just decriminalized. It shouldn't even be on the books. Not just
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna make it Rec with regulations. It should just be off the books completely. But
Yeah.
what I'm worried about here is, the wave of rec comes across and it gets legalized. I don't even think
Mm-hmm.
that's going to put doctors in the position that we're talking about there, where they can prescribe it. You know what I mean? And be working with it on a medical point. That's just recreational. And I want to see it. I've said this before. I would have loved to see the medical wave go coast to coast before. What I'm
Yeah.
afraid of with the recreational now, everybody can smoke it. Well, God, and then we're already seeing this here in Michigan. Well,
Yep.
why do I need a card for? Why do I
Yep.
need a card for? I can, well, you need a card to keep the numbers up so research can be done. As the
Exactly.
cards are dwindling, as the research side of it, they're going to be like, yeah, see, I told you they're potheads. As soon as they got their way, no more medical cards. We need
Exactly.
funding. We need numbers. They were slowly building.
I have
As
mine.
this pushed, and then as rec came back, the medical cards and funding are going like this. As far as medical research with
I
cannabis,
have my
that
card,
scares me.
and I told you, man, I will never step inside a provisioning center. Even though I'll never step inside one, I still have my card because I support what it means. And you got to be able to stand behind what you are believing in. And if it means paying out a certain amount of money just to say, yeah, I believe in this, that's what it has to be done, man.
It's like Smiley's already pointing out there. It's already kind of going that way here in Michigan because of the money, as you're pointing out. Uh, it's just easier for them. There's less stipulations for
Yep.
a rec row. They don't have to, be as clean. Basically, there's less testing. It's easier for them to get their product through on the recreational side.
And the
Why
federal can
mess
do
with
whatever they want.
medical growing when, yeah, we'll go rec. A lot of medical grows here in Michigan have already switched over to the rec side.
Yeah,
Forget that medical,
there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room to wiggle room about stuff and that. Yeah, compared to medical, a lot. I agree, man. And here's the thing: I think they're going to be putting it out there more as an essential thing to keep everybody in a more of a pacified way, you know, because when it was hitting hard last March, liquor stores were still open, and it took them about what 3 days to realize they better reopen the recreational at least, if not medical, because there were a lot of people there. It was the medical was still open. It was recreational, I think, that got closed down, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
Took them 3 days to realize, yeah, people are going to burn us down if we don't open back up. I didn't say that. I'm sorry. They were going to,
Well, this is another aspect too that I encourage people as far as being able to keep them numbers up as
Mhm.
well. But there's other aspects of having that medical card that is a plus as well. And I don't think people view this as well as in that whole grand scheme of things is, as now it's rec, and cannabis stays in your system for a long fucking time.
Oh, I know this,
Long fucking
bro.
time.
I
We
know
know
this,
that.
man. Yeah.
I know you know this, but
Yes, sir.
conversation's sake.
Mhm.
Conversation. You know, uh, you go out and you're smoking every day, recreational. You go
Yeah.
get hurt on the job, and a lot of policies have not changed. Now, company policies have not changed. You get hurt on that job, you go to the doctor. A lot of times, you're still going to be asked for that blood test or whatever
Well,
for
see, that's
insurance
the thing.
purposes.
Here's what it is, Eagle. They don't test you before. They just say, no, that's all right. Come on in. If you have an accident, though, if you have a car accident or anything like that, or an accident on the job, there will be a blood test given, and then we'll know what's going on. There you
When
go.
that
That's
comes back with cannabis in your system, they are gonna at one point, just like they would find anything else in your system,
oh yeah,
go, woof, we're not gonna pay for this
yeah,
because you were neglectful and you had alcohol or drugs in your system that are
truth.
both of them I can say are recreational and you shouldn't have them in your system while you're working because in their view it alters your view of things. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's
Shouldn't
it's
operate machinery or whatever.
yeah,
But
it's not
it
excreted
gives
out of your
them room
system
for
as
denial.
quickly. It's not excreted out of your system as quickly as some other things are.
Right. But now say if you're smart and you helping out with the system, you still have your medical card, at least you have some rights as a medical patient to have it into your system. It is my medicine. I am treating myself. I have HEPA rights. You know what I mean? You have a leg to stand on with an employer why it's in your system. Not, hey
Well,
man, I've been partying all week. Fuck, who gives a shit, man? It's still in my system.
but
But
see,
if you approach your employer with the same
you
problem
just said the
and you
magic
have that
words, though,
medical
man.
card,
You just said the magic
well,
words. Who gives a shit? Because they're gonna tell you, hey, it's at will, man, and we're not really as at will right now with you as we'd like to be, and that's what they'll do. Pay the price, whatever it is, to not have to see Eagle again. Bye, Eagle, and that's what'll happen, man. But you can still say, yeah, but I have the right to do it, and you do, you know. Not going to argue with you about that, but that's what they're going to say. They're just going to be like, no, you're too much of a risk now.
maybe so, maybe so.
But
But
my question
at
is
least
this. Here's this.
you can't be denied. If they find cannabis in your system and you do get fired for that injury, if you did it or whatever or whatnot, they still can't deny you unemployment because of termination because of cannabis.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to have to figure out whether or not unemployment's doing a good job of doing their job or not. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying as well. There's more of a room to fight,
Because
and
these
but
guys
like
don't
I
have a
said
good
as
track
well,
record.
I'm always willing to go to the mat to fight for my cannabis, right? So
You know what
I
I'm
always
saying,
have.
man. You know what I'm saying. I'm with you 100%, but it's just the way they look at it now. It's not even worth it. They would rather take in the possibility of a functional stoner than to put the bar up and say, no, we're not going to take a chance. We're not going to do anything. You know, it's just there's not enough room to be selective. You know, there's not enough people coming to the door saying, "Hey, I'll talk to you about a job." You know, there's too much demand out there, man. If you knew, if you knew how much of a bonus some nurses are making right now, you would choke you, man.
I can only imagine. And you guys deserve it. You know what I mean? You guys are risking a lot right now.
Well,
Just
I'm
letting
not gonna risk.
everybody
I'm not
wander
gonna
in.
risk bedside for that, man. That's not me. I'm too old for that shit. I just say, hey, I'm a risk myself, man. I can't be hanging around asking them how they're doing. You know, I'd rather do it by the phone. That's a good distance for me. That's what I call social distancing, right there.
Uh, you're still in a cog in a much needed system. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Work from home is a blessing, man. I love it. Feel like I'm in prison sometimes, but you know, hey, I go walk the yard. You know,
Well, I bet you that prison has at least has some rockin' jams playing all day that you didn't get. If I were in
um,
your shoes, man, I'd be rocking out all day while I was typing it on the
some people
computer.
will
You know what I
appreciate
mean?
this. I don't have to worry about the asshole in the next cubicle because that's me. I'm the asshole, you know. So if I'm playing stuff loud or whatever, man, it's what it is. It's my office. You're in my office right now, man.
It is kind of funny you think about it.
Yeah.
Photons Foe says, Eagle, I noticed Prometheus is cheaping with some surgical clamps. If you think about it, that is kind of funny.
Work tools. This is old school, man. We used to do this back in the day, man. You know, but yeah, I had a ready supply, so you know, you get
Medical tool
familiar.
being in medical tool helping you adjust your medical medicine. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Like you said, tools of the trade.
Is it, man? You're familiar with it. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. You're just familiar with it, man. Yeah,
That's,
definitely,
you know, I
man.
think that's another thing that doesn't get used as much as it should. The good old fucking emos. I miss it.
Um,
And actually, that in the Toadstone,
I'll say
both.
one more thing to you, man, about what we were talking about, right? And this is more like a seed than anything else. They were actually talking about how the influenza or the flu's gone away. All right. So, you know, you got your choice of a vaccine. I think the vaccine does more than just make feel but people feel better mostly, you know. That's my own opinion.
And I'll take your opinion. You know, you're a medical professional. But
I've been really pretty much isolated, but I think if you really take care of yourself, you're gonna be in pretty fair shape, you know. My girl goes into the front lines every day, man. They're always dragging her in there to be at the bedside to do stuff. So yeah. But you
give
know, I do what
thanks
I
and
can,
shout
man.
out
I
to
help her
her.
out. You know, I help her out a lot, and you know, try to keep her straight. And you know, she's a trooper, man. We're those people who like to work a lot of hours in the old age. You know,
That, man. Nothing wrong with that.
can't go anywhere, can't do anything really yet. You know, We used to go to concerts.
Everywhere I go, people are saying right now, they can't get nobody to work. Everywhere to
Yeah.
go. I've even YouTube the last 2 days in my travels back and forth is actually putting out commercials telling people like that's the benefit of life is to get out there and earn, get
Get
back
back
to
to
work.
work.
I'm like, I'm like, that's it's bad when your YouTube commercials are like, yeah,
Yeah.
probably get back to work. I'm like,
It's
oh,
because
God, it's
everybody's
terrible.
binging, man. They're binge watching shit, and that's the way they get to them. It's like you got to hit your audience where they're at, you know?
That could be the purpose there.
Yeah. Well, they got to stop paying people to stay home, man.
There's actually new stores around me that are ready to open that can't open because they can't find enough employees to have a
Yeah.
grand opening for the place.
Because they have a
That's
choice, man. They're being given a choice.
my local Walmart. My local Walmart doesn't even you can't like go in and get deli items midweek like how most are like you have the sliced stuff and then you have like fried foods and that part of the deli.
What?
That part of the deli isn't open. And I asked one day because I was hitting it. I was doing some work over on that side, and their strips deal is like amazing food.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go in buy a pound of strips, and it's more than like three people can eat chicken strips. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stopped. It just stopped. It was like for less than $6 and it just
Wow.
stopped. And I was like thinking to myself, man, I'm a little later today, but I'm not that late. You know what I mean? And then I
You
was coming
just
in
missed
earlier
us.
and earlier. No strips, no strips, no strips. And finally I stopped. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? What the fuck, man? I'm not, it's 2 o'clock in the
They're
afternoon. You guys
cutting
should have
margins,
chicken
man.
strips.
They're cutting
They
margins.
they looked at me. They looked at me and said, "I'd love to have chicken strips, but we can't find nobody to work. We
Wow.
were trying to put them out on the weekends, but it's
Wow.
still maybe if you call on the weekends and at least order them, we can make them for you. But if the best thing I can tell you is if we got enough staff on the weekends, we make them now. But
Yeah.
midweek, if we ain't got nobody, you ain't getting them." I'm like, that
Wow.
is, yeah,
That is some shit,
yeah.
man. Well, jobs went somewhere, or the people did, man. One or the other, right? It's usually the
Jobs are
story.
there. Jobs are there. Where are the people?
What do you think it's going to take, man?
I don't, oof, I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
hard. It's
I
hard
think
to get
what,
them off the crack of stimulus, man. People keep getting paid to stay home.
yes. Well, I don't know. That's a toughie. It's not what it takes, my friend. It's it's what's going to happen if the lag is too deep.
Yeah.
Is that's going to be the sad thing. If the
Some
lag's too
people can't
deep,
hold
and
on.
uh, if the lag's too deep in the workforce to where they pay people at home to stay home long enough, and people stay home long enough, and employers have to struggle and struggle, what's either one or two things going to happen.
Hmm.
They're going to either find great employees that strive to do what they love to do and are happy to be there because they're putting out and they're getting that good feeling of
Yeah.
worth. I went out and did something. I was needed. That's one thing that misses out with people with, the free money doesn't give you that worth. It's giving you
Yeah.
a bank worth, but it's not giving you worth. You know
Mm-mm.
what I'm saying? And I think when it comes down to it, that person that's filling the void right now, the few that are stepping up and filling that void, are going to do it so well that the employees, when they come back and it's all gone, they're gonna be like, yeah, man, we are kicking ass currently, and we're doing it with half the workforce, which means everybody's here making a lot more money. Where our profits are up, we don't need a double work staff right now.
We don't
The
need you,
engine's
man.
running perfect, perfect. So
Yep.
thank you. And I've already noticed that in a lot of places, customer service is more friendly. And this is the other downside, or a possibility as well. If the lag is too deep, they're going to
Hmm.
usher in more self-serve, more AI. They're going to find
Yeah.
ways of automation that's going to take the place of this. Don't need you to show up. Look at this. Johnny fucking machines hammering and shit out every 2 seconds.
That's
And
what
it comes with
happens
an
when you
easy
protest
programmable
yourself out of
touchscreen.
a job, man. You protest yourself
Huh?
out of a job. People can't afford that, man. My question's always been, if you're going to raise minimum wage to 15, does that trickle up, or am I just going to have to say, hey, the ladder just got chunked down a bit, but
I, I don't.
that's
I don't think it's
people
going to
don't
make
think
that.
about that, man.
I do. Unfortunately, I do. I hate the fact that I do sometimes. To be honest with you,
That's
I
crazy,
know my
isn't it?
kids hate the fact that I do. It is.
But that's what happens, like you're talking about, man. That's where kiosks come from. This is where automatic burger makers come from. And it's like, yeah, guess what? We figured out this guy don't call in sick. He don't fuck around. He's not playing grab ass with the girls up front, and he's always here. So bye.
That's why I still love what I do. It's still, you won't find that AI standing on a wall setting a truss anytime soon.
Not today.
You're not gonna find that robot jamming under your sink to fucking fix
No,
a leak.
no.
As long as I show up, people are still happy to pay.
That's right. We were talking about our getting our taxes done, and the like, you think they should get really excited about the job she does, and I'm like, well, man, death and taxes, two constants in life, right?
How bad was the tax thing as far as that? They get you on the stimulus bad, really bad?
No, man, things worked out. I have a very good tax accountant, takes good care of me. Pay your tax accountant, pay them well. They do a good job. They keep you out of jail, which is a great thing. And no, I did okay. There's some special rules out there in that. So, you know, defer is the usual term. So, and it's always a good kick it down because you never know what the rules are going to change to next. Yeah.
Advice.
So no complaints, man, but it's given me the opportunity to breathe. So that's what I look at it. Start doing some
So
of
do
these
you
things
have,
I was talking about.
what are some of the things that, what is first up on the thing to do list?
Keep looking for opportunities when genetics are involved, man. I just got into some Panama Red that's supposed to have some lineage going back to the 70s. So, but with this stuff here, like I said, it comes with a price. Not just the price of the genetics, but you're going to have to bank on another 4 weeks. And plow. Can you do that? And I'm at a point
You
now
know,
where it's like, I think I'd like to try that, man. See what that's the magic key. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the ingredient that some people just can't seem to fit in their recipe, man. It's adding that extra time, because that does cost money.
it does too. It does too. And I argued that fact with Spartan Grown a while back ago on Michigan Bros Grow Show when I was swinging that hammer.
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, and that was they were running a longer wheat strain there at the
Yeah.
facility that he's working at, and I'm like, is it worth it? And that's, I still wonder that, as far as in a business sense, is a home grower and somebody that wants to grow my own quality medicine, yes, worth it, definitely worth it. You know
There
what
is
I
a
mean? That
risk
extra
reward
high.
there, man.
But as far as like a business now, looking at it as a business aspect, and this is why I hate fucking recreational, because I'm not even on that level, and I
Yeah,
understand that. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
once it comes up to that, it's not, as as somebody that would be producing medicine on that kind of scale, or recreational. What do you call it when it's recreational? Because it's not medicine at that point. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do you, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, why would I want to go 12 plus weeks? You know what I mean? 12
Yeah.
plus weeks and be able to get a few more cents on the dollar for the product because it's that much potent, or do I as a farmer want to flip twice in that same twice,
You'll
you
get
know
at
what I
least one
mean,
more
and
cycle
have
over that year. Yeah.
not just one, but it's the way you set up, and you can have much more, but in the same cycle of your 12 plus week strain, I can almost pump out two quick flips, you know what I mean, some hybrids,
And
and
that's where
have
you,
twice the yield.
but see,
And
that's
I
where you
probably
define
will,
where's that
well,
quality,
and I
where's
get
that
this,
cachet, man? Can
and
you
again,
charge extra for that? Can you chase that fire when it's hot?
that's what I'm saying there. Can you charge that extra more? That's my ploy. That's my
Yeah,
ploy. You'll be able to get a couple extra cents out of it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But me as a producer, does it make more sense to me to get twice as much, flip twice as much, and get,
It depends where your
more than a,
motivation is, man.
yeah, I agree. I agree. But it's not my motivation
I
we're
understand.
talking about.
I
My
know.
heart's in the right place, but when it
Yeah.
comes to on a bigger level, their motivation is fuck that 12 plus week strain. I'm going with twice as much.
Well,
I
I'll give
think
you an
that's where
analogy, man.
big
I'll give you an
money,
analogy.
that's where their heart's at. To be honest with
You'll
you, it's
make
in their heart's in their wallet.
you'll make more money consistently shooting par in golf than you will trying to make the miraculous shot or the big money shot. You know, trying to go for the ultra low score because there's a lot of risk involved there. But if you just go out like you're saying, produce what you know, produce what works, get that timing down, you can put out a lot more product, and overall, I think you'll probably make more money in the long run. But
That's
yeah,
another
it's a
reason
big
right there
change
why
up,
I'm
man.
scared of the wreck. That's what scares me about the rec rat level of
Yeah,
it. Medical side of
mediocrity,
things,
man.
the heart's in the right place. We're worried about quality. We've got the patience and the heart for that longer run because it's our
Hmm.
medicine. We want the most out of it. But when
Yeah,
it comes to the recreation, it's the motivation's money. It's
it's hard not to keep
bad.
out that motivation, man. It's hard not to.
Oh man, you already see it to a certain extent, and I'm afraid once when it comes to that scale, that motivation, a lot of the cannabis is going to fall from to the wayside because them that
Yeah,
big dollar guy, they're only going to want to run certain big flippers, them big yields that they can flip, twice the
yeah,
time of
yeah.
and they've got a great name. That will come into it as well. The
That's
name, the
already
whole
makes a
marketing
big deal now,
aspect.
man.
Isn't it sad though? The marketing aspect of it, when you're as far as way it's being pushed to consumers, you know what I
There's a
mean? As
market
far
that
as
thrives on that, though,
provisioning,
man.
it's sad when you go into a provisioning center and you go buy a strain, and there's nothing wrong with breeders putting out, strain T-shirts to promote your shit. But I'm saying is, as we come out and you go buy your strain and come out with a T-shirt, from the
Hmm.
provisioning center. I think things have gotten a little bit too commercial at that point. I shouldn't be able to buy a hat, shirt, shoes. Oh, cookie, bang! I don't
Well, it's
know.
that you can't go around too much without, everybody, where's the runts? Where's the runts, man? That kind of thing. And they're terp chasing, man. That's
I
what they
think
were trying to sell off.
them shirts that I just showed, like the one you have on, great
Mm-hmm.
lady, by the way, great
Mm-hmm.
genetics. I think they should be more like concert T-shirts. To be honest with you, you should be able to only be able to pick one up, or if you want to support them. But you know what I mean. It
No,
shouldn't
I
be
hear you,
like
man.
when you go buy a sack at the provisioning center that
Mm-hmm.
they're rolling your purchase up in a T-shirt.
That's a
Basically,
nice
that's what
idea,
they're
man. I
saying.
like
When
that.
it reaches that point, it's too.
No, I like that idea, man. That's all right. I think that should be that way. You walk off with a little something, a little advertisement too.
It would make me feel better about if it were included like that about some of the crazy prices they get for some of that cannabis at some of
Hey,
these provisioning
it's whatever
centers.
the market bears. I'll do it on occasion, but I'm pretty cheap when it comes to buying seeds, man. I like auctions. I like buying in bulk, knowing that I'm going to go through it at some point, or I'm going to give it away. So yeah, that's the other thing, man. I don't want to be doing that boots to roots project with Fems or auto flowers unless it's coming from somebody else. Myself, I want to, get people to be able to learn how to clone, learn how to selectively breed, do their own stuff.
Sustainability. That's the beautiful part about the photos that I've always liked. Once you find
Yep,
that one, if it does, fire you up, it checks all the boxes, man. You can actually keep that. That's what beauty about it. You talked about earlier about the consistency of the medicine. Well, when we're talking about photos and stuff like that, and you've done your own pheno honey, you find
yep,
that gem, you can clone and keep that consistency forever. You know what I mean? You found the one that works
exactly.
for you, and the option of keeping it forever is pretty much there as long as you keep the lights on, keep a heart about going in there and keeping it water, you're good.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
it shouldn't have to be that hard to do something like that, to be able to have that sustainability for yourself. I don't think enough people think it's obtainable or I know a lot of people will have caregivers because it's difficult for them to grow, whether it's their living situation or whatever it might be. But there's a lot of people who just, it's too much of a mental challenge for them until they realize what's involved.
But that's the aspect that I've seen across the board as well, Prometheus, is the growing, people kind of view it as a panic kind of moment, but man, it's one of the most mental clarifying parts of the day for me, to be honest with you. I can stress out about a lot of shit all fucking day long, but I may stress even about getting into the room and watering or whatever. But once I've grabbed that fucking water pail, the water hose, or whatever I'm using, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Once I'm in the room and doing the task, wow, does the rest of the fucking bullshit fade. That's the best mental medicine there is actually
Yeah.
being in the garden. And you know what I mean? Once you kind of realize that, that's what hooks a lot of people, man. I say that a lot too, man. The cultivation part of it, that side of it, is every bit of therapeutic as sitting here and smoking shit.
I just want to try to remove one of the obstacles, and that being the price of genetics and that, or the availability of it. Because even when I started 2 years ago, man, I was scared shitless making my first purchase overseas and uh, didn't know how to get a hold of genetics. I was so still prohibition. Michigan had just gone wreck.
The Horticulture Association of America in 1974 realized the therapeutic uh, benefits of growing, not cannabis, but growing, just growing, and tried to approach the government and wanted to make them methods be known as part of a comeback for veterans and stuff, even back then, as an alternative medicine to some of the shit that was being pushed. You know what I mean? They knew
Hmm.
back then that, horticulture, and even more so now with cannabis, to me, I could see the benefits flat out of growing whatever, checking on your plants. Once you kind of get
Hmm.
in that, house plants, whatever, I'm sure that's what it was being pushed as then, maybe tomatoes, gardens in general. But when it's your own medicine, you're seeing it through from start to finish, man, it's more special. It's more empowering. I mean, it's therapeutical all the way through. That first harvest, smoking your medicine. This, once you make it through that harvest, that hard time, and received all the benefits of growing it, then you do this right here.
Yep.
This is empowering. This
Oh,
is
big
fucking
time, man.
empowering. Once you made it to this stage of it right here,
Hmm.
this is my medicine. I did this. Well, guess what? Now I've got a whole new attitude about what else I can fucking do. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? I did
Exactly.
this. I did this. Now what else can I fucking do? I
And
see
this
that,
was being
that's
kept from me too. This was being kept away from me. And now I have this
it's
and I have this power to be able to do different things with this also.
and again, man, that's one of the beautiful things about what you're trying to do, brother. I don't know if you're understanding that part about it or not. Especially, that especially with the people you're trying to work with, brother.
Hmm.
That's the key here. Is a lot of the people that come back from doing what you're doing what you said, like you said, a lot of things that they didn't want to do, they do for the right reasons, for what they think is the right reason, and then come home and then struggle through life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they have a hard time getting through. And once they can actually have that empowerment back, brother, that the medication that you were talking about, getting that growing going and getting that fucking can do back, man, that can do is gold, man. People need that can do, man. It is, it's waking them up. That's the part when you've done the medicine and you're smoking it and you've got that can do back. That's the pickup that a
Hmm.
lot of great veterans need to realize that, they don't need the government or anybody else. They can
No.
do back to themselves and do, be the awesome people that they were and still are. You know what I
Well,
mean? That's the awesome thing that you're helping with right there, is helping people get that back, brother.
yeah.
And that's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
Well, what the government can give you can also take away from you too. We've seen, local municipalities like up in Clio trying to limit what caregivers can do, you know, and starting to take away the benefit there, or trying to, and that could happen just as easily with what our ability here in the state is. They could say we had a change of heart and boom, there goes your count. And that could be a push towards that mediocre government we were talking about. I mean, I think federal legality is a great carrot to be dangling out there, but I don't think it's real. I think it's a distraction.
I gotta agree with you, and it's sad, and the only thing that will keep pushing it through right now is, and I think it's, again, it's not the heart of the cannabis community that will push it through. The fangs of the wallet have already
Hmm.
started to sink in.
Oh
That's
yeah.
cool. That'll be the push. And again, and I understand and I respect what you do, brother, wholeheartedly, both as a veteran and a medical provider, brother.
Hmm.
But as again, I gotta say this one last time. I respect you wholeheartedly. But I've had a lot of people in my family that have been caught up in the pharmaceutical mess.
Yeah.
It spins out of control, and I think that I've
Easy.
said this a lot of times. They don't want to see medical cannabis. It's too big of a threat. I don't know, and if you don't have to agree with me here, You don't, as a medical provider, I'm not asking you to jump on my train and go, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think they realize that it is a good medicine and it has a lot of applications across the board. It could be very useful and
Yeah,
very detrimental to their pocketbook because even though uh, there will probably never be that consistency that you want to see, but
yeah,
there is the possibility of each individual patient finding that one that we talked about and be able to sustain themselves for free for the
yeah.
rest of their lives, and they won't make no money off it. They don't want to see that. But
No.
if they can back the other side of it, the recreational side, it's a win-win for them. As I
Mm-hmm.
spoke of before, research will go down. They'll still be able to push their poisons just like as they were, and
Yeah,
everybody will be happy because they still have their cannabis. The only difference is now, good sir, is they'll be able to keep prescribing us their medication, and now they'll be able to take their profits and invest in cannabis, recreational cannabis. Yay, their savior, and they'll make
yeah.
more money off it. They'll play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm afraid of. That's my cannabis nightmare for me.
Well, it'll become a political tool, man. It has to, because there's too much to be gained from it. I mean, why was it essential? Because it created a great tax revenue. And there has to be a tax revenue coming in if you're not having all these businesses working. Something's got to keep the ship afloat, man. You know, our state is a bloated behemoth when it comes to spending money, man. Let's face it. You just drive around, you can see all the work that's being done on the roads. And there's a lot of people still not working. So how's that getting paid?
There's one other thing or two that I want to throw in on that argument of mine
Hmm.
is, once they push that recreational aspect of it, that a lot of, yay, 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 yeah, we can smoke pot. What's going to happen next once they money gets their fangs into that shit? That home grow, they're going to put all their money that they're fucking cashing in on all their purchases.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're buying pot. They're gonna do the political thing, start filling them pockets. No more home grow, no more
Yeah,
home grow, no more home grow.
I
And
can
then
see that
that's again,
happening.
that feeds the pharma side too. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? If you can't sustain yourself at home legally, well, then you're stuck back into the pharma medicine. To be
can't
honest
have
with
people
you, they
using all
really.
that wild ass weed they're growing in home, man. Come on, that shit's some powerful shit, you know?
That's why, man, I encourage everybody to, like I said, man, get that card, man. The fight, they make it sound good, but the fight's far from over.
I
And it's like you
agree.
pointed out here, man, even in Michigan, even in Clio, Flushing there, Flushing's had it out for cannabis for day one. I don't even know if you
Hmm.
know that. I've lived in that area. You've even since medical, you have not been able to grow, even as a caregiver, within the city lines of Flushing.
Yeah,
If they came to your house, man, you had big trouble back then. Now they're just trying to outright make sure you can't do it. Period. They're trying to spread it a little bit. They're tightening the
but
wheels in
that's their
Flushing.
right to do that, though, man. And
Probably.
it's you're not bound to have to live there. I mean, and market might make it difficult for you to move if you decide it's more important to have your cannabis rights. Depending on where you live. But that's the great thing about it too, though, is you're not having the overbearing arm of either the state or the federal saying our rules supersede yours. You give people a voice and an opportunity to be able to do it, because for every no, there is another yes somewhere else. And the more yeses, the more it spreads. So you have to have those opportunities in order to get the yeses. You got to accept that there's going to be some no's.
Yes, there will be some noise, undoubtedly. But
Doesn't mean they're
again, I don't
permanent.
want all. Right, right, right. But
It's
if we're out
120,
there at
man. Let's get
least,
that dab song going. I'm gonna spark up another joint, man. I'm gonna be hotboxing it here. Let's get the dab song going. Who wants to hear the dab song?
That's a silly question, to be honest with you. I have to use like the more like I don't know. It's a more game showy version of the dab song.
No, but I want to talk to you more about that, man. I want to talk to you more about that because I feel a lot about that. People's ability to grow what they want or to do what they want. I think it's a plant, for God's sakes, man. What serious harm can it do?
In my opinion, shit, there in Detroit, there at one point they were, urban gardens were the problem. Just growing your own vegetables.
Yeah.
But there, I don't see a problem in growing your own medicine, that's for sure.
No.
And again, I appreciate you, the fact that you are in the medical field and that you're open-minded. And that was more or less with the basic question when this all started was, in my opinion, that a lot of the people in the medical field that I have come across, even though they may not say it at work, you know what I mean, will say, yeah, I'm becoming more and more open to cannabis. You know what I mean? As someone has been somewhat of a medical value. I'm not again asking doctors to come all the way. Oh yeah, it's a miracle medicine. All I'm asking
no, it's
most
not everything,
doctors to
man.
do is no, it's not. God, you would have to be stone silly to think it's the end all be all. It's not. It's not. To be honest with you, I mean, you need doctors to sew your arms back on, and there's there's a time and a place for everything. But all I'm asking is, it needs to be in their repertoire, basically. It's just like anybody else, somebody in my profession. When I show up to a job, any tile, construction in general, I want every possible tool in my toolbox to do the best possible job I can do. And I think that's no difference with a doctor, and that a cannabis should be in their toolbox in their tool shed. If it, you know what I mean, I don't think they should be hindered in, So that's, and I've seen more and more become more optimistic about it.
Yeah.
But I don't. It's not welcomed at this point still.
No. And let me clear up one thing, man. I've been growing for 2 years. I haven't worked bedside in over 3 years. So I was always stone sober when I worked bedside, man. And I don't administer medication, nothing like that, man. So that's why I'm able to freely use, I think. I mean, I'm not giving consultation on somebody's medical condition. I'm not trying to diagnose or anything crazy like that. So, but yeah, no, it's good to be able to know about it because it's out there. It's prevalent, man. It is prevalent. It is everywhere. Whether it's CBD, whether it's THC, it's rosin, it's diamonds and sauce, it's everything, man. It's all out there.
So, and again, this is just conversation's sake. I am not trying to strike any nerves. And if I do, Prometheus, please tell me to piss off.
I'm a nurse. I don't have any feelings, man. Come on.
So this is what I'm saying. So if I rushed into surgery and the guy that's working on me has a terrible bad back for one reason or another, he's not allowed to, you know what I mean? Medication is medication. If and I would feel that way, to be honest with you, as somebody that was coming in, and I would want my physician to need whatever he needs to be top of his game to be in there.
Yeah.
And if cannabis kept him level-headed and focused before, fucking smoke that shit, man. Get in here and save my life, man. That's the way I feel it. And that's the same thing, I don't think that it's so there should be an eye raise if so he does have that back and he has to take. I'm terrible. I don't even. I'm so not into pharmaceutical medicine. I can't even give you an example for like pain that would affect his ability. But I'm sure
Norco.
there's a lot of pain medication. Yeah, he could take a Norco and be, you know what I mean, for his pain, and it would be acceptable for him because he prescribes it every day and he knows whatever and you know so that there should be some different. I would honestly be leery of the doctor around the North Pole before my doctor.
Well, that is the one good thing about cannabis is you can turn it on when you want to. And you can pretty much figure out or be able to pull your head out of your ass enough if you need to. As long as you're not, what I'm doing right now, seriously blazing one after another, I wouldn't be able to make sound judgments right now, and I'm not expected to, and I would refuse to. But yeah,
That's just responsibility in general. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
But if I had to work in the morning, I would probably be of sound mind, be able to do it. But you would still be able to find THC in my system because of the way it's metabolized.
With that being said, too, man, I've ingested cannabis, and I don't think it's so every day with me. I don't think it actually messes up my judgment like that. There's even studies that people with driving and cannabis, long-term cannabis users, and driving, as far as it affecting their ability to drive. And it's been way over exaggerated for years. But again, would you want me come jump on your roof or work on your houses after a handful of fucking oxys or whatever for my back pain, or would you rather me fucking blaze a joint to help get me out of the truck and get me into the yard? Yeah, I think I'm more level headed smoking that one on the way versus
that's not a hypothetical, man. That's not a hypothetical. That's a reality every day for people, man. You got to figure out who you're hiring, the meth head or the pothead. Which one is the one that's going to be the more apt to do it, the tweaker or the toker, man? Take your choice.
I tell you what, I'll hire the toker any day. Any day. Any day.
You know that. I know that because, there's usually just one kind of meth, but, you could have the sativa smoker, you could have the indica smoker. It depends who's on the job site that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but man, I still don't. No, I don't see it. I don't see it.
I'll take the cannabis guy every day too, man. But that's just me.
I know. Again, not encouraging it by any means. And a lot of people, and I don't think it hinders my ability at all. To be honest with you,
I think
I've
people
actually
need to
been
experience it, man. People need to experience it.
I've actually been known for my quality, my craftsmanship throughout my whole career, and I've used cannabis all through. Granted, if I need a level-headed, I don't feel like it's a necessity. But have I used it on the job? Safety meeting, lunch break, whatever. Sometimes, yeah, yes, of course. But only, I'm using it with my better judgment. You know what I mean?
To fill those gaps, right?
Yeah. But I'll tell you this one for sure. I've never advertised my company once, and I've been able to work for myself for fucking almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Word of mouth, just by quality jobs, great craftsmanship. So I honestly can say that, it hasn't hindered my ability, my craftsmanship at all, because that's flat out what I'm known for in that world.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah. So I don't think that's, I can't say that's hindered that at all.
No, there's only a few places where I think it really matters because if you really look around you, we are swimming in alcohol and Xanax and what's the other one, man? You got Adderall going on. You got cannabis going on. You got all kinds of stuff going on, man. You don't know what anybody next to you might have in their system or what's happening. So to sit there and try to point the finger at one thing and say that's not going to be acceptable, I think is kind of hypocritical and not realistic about what's
So
really going on.
I have to ask this, brother. I
Hmm.
have to ask this as somebody that is in the medical field. Do you see a lot of that? Because you see the tests on the other side. Do you ever? Is there like a lot of like something happens, you have to pull that fucking blood work, and then you're like, no shit, that guy's got that in their system. That's fucking. I can't believe that shit. How many times do you see, somebody that you wouldn't expect it with something in their system that
Oh,
wouldn't
it's
normally?
first thing is you never look at anybody and have an expectation about anything. If you do that, you're a lot less likely to be let down. If you just accept that shit happens to people, and not a lot of times do people go out of their way to try to make shit happen. Sometimes just bad things happen to people. But I don't do that kind of nursing at this point. But before, you learn so much just through an admission process of what people are taking. You can pretty much figure what's going on and connect the dots about things. But there's a lot of people using medication for crutches for things, and I'm not one to judge whether or not they need it or not. Somebody who has a higher authority than me has decided they do, and that's what it is. That's all I could say about that. But I stopped making judgments about that stuff real quick, man, when I got involved, because you don't know what people go through.
I agree with that.
And
I agree with that.
you see the same mistakes being made by different people, and you're just like, hey, look, it's just like a process that happens. Now to sit there and put a blind eye to it for whatever reason is criminal, I think. But to understand it and try to know the origin of how it happens and how it can happen to people, and to be accepting that there sometimes it just happens.
Man, it took me a long time in life to develop that aspect, that outlook, to be honest with you. And it was a lot of the growing in this with this show in the last year, to be honest with you. Cancellations and shit like that, last minute. And at first, I kind of, it made me a little pissy. And then I started, man, you don't know what the fuck's going on the other side. Shit, they could have shittiest day, whatever, loved one hurt, heaven forbid, whatever. You don't know. You ain't got no right to be pissy. You know what I mean? And then I once I realized that, it was like, hey, fuck this, man. Life's too short to even question, that or whatever. You
It
know,
gets
we,
shorter and shorter too, man.
there's another day. There's another day. We'll do it. We'll do another day. If you want to do another day, I understand. No hard feelings, man. I got through it. You got through it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Let's talk about it when we can talk about it, man.
there's a way. There's a way to do it, man.
And I do. I appreciate your outlook on that, especially in the medical field. I could honestly see, as you say, that could hinder, treatment if you actually took some kind of judgment. You know what I mean? Put yourself and took an angle on the judgment angle. I could honestly see how that could, you know,
Yeah,
hinder
well,
care.
the worst thing is you never know how somebody's going to react till like about 4 or 6 hours after they've been admitted, and things start to wear off of what they might have been taking outside. And a lot of times, you may not get the same, whole cadre of medications you take at home when you're in the hospital. because sometimes they like to turn off certain things, and because we're trying to treat a certain problem, we get that problem fixed, you can go back home. You'll still have all the other problems you had before, but we're worried about this problem. We get that one fixed, you can go home now. you know so that's, people don't get that sometimes. There's all kinds of things going on in there, man.
Oh, that brings up a whole new aspect or reason why I got respect for people like yourself, man.
Hmm.
As you said, they come in their worst state a lot of times, drunk, whatever, don't even know why they're there, don't want to be there,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then you guys are tasked to try to calm them down and help them. With a lot of times they don't want to be helped or whatever, you
Nah,
know.
it's crazy, man. I mean, you get to see all different kinds of people, but the thing is you get a pretty good rounded view of what humanity is really like. And there's a lot of different people, there's a lot of different circumstance, and you learn not to be so judgmental about things. Don't
I was
don't treat people for what they have happening in their life. If you're a cancer patient, man, your cancer doesn't define you as a person. You're so much more to you than that. You just happen to be going through this. And that's what you got to remember, is this is just a diversion in their life or something. you know
so is that the honestly, as I think about it, I hear you talk about it. Is that the way it kind of works? I mean, most people cope with whatever they do in several different ways, but I can see the medical field being a tough one. Either, you'd have to either one or two do one of two things
hmm.
to be able to survive in your industry, and that would
What do you
either
think?
be rock hard and cold as hell, or go the other route, which I think you've done, and went the super compassionate route. It's woken you up to, like you said, you've seen more, as you've seen, you understand, that,
Hmm.
life isn't always perfect and people take their routes, but whatever. So is it hopefully more lenient to the compassionate side, or is it
I wish it was,
more
man.
harder to, yeah,
I think what happens is
and
you get a lot of burnout, and you got to rotate people out, man. I mean, everybody, I think, should have to go through like a med surge type rotation, which is anything and everything that comes off the street, all your general stuff, anything like that. It teaches you that people walk around with conditions you wouldn't think they'd be able to, but the human body is amazing in the way it's able to compensate and survive. And you find out a lot about what people are capable of and what they go through and all the different walks, and you learn to serve. That's really what it is.
so is it, as we're sitting here talking, and I've asked the question of, hard or soft, basically, when it comes
Oh, you
to,
start off soft, you get hard, man, trust me, but you learn when to turn it on and when to turn it off. Not everybody needs that. But you got to,
yeah.
what you use hard for? You use hard to manage chaos.
uh, I'm glad you threw that aspect into, because the other aspect of what I was going to wonder is
Hmm.
the addiction. Is that what makes the hard in the physician? To be honest with you, would be the addiction, because unfortunately, I've been in emergency rooms for many of things, and it's always injuries, man.
Yeah,
Man, my medical record's probably about this thick
I
of,
bet, man. I bet.
crazy shit that I've done, and injuries,
Hmm.
motorcycle accidents, whatnot. But every time I'm in there and I'm waiting in the ER for one reason or another, I
Hmm.
hear the doctors, I see the patients, I know what you're talking about. The people that, are frequent in there, they don't have any other alternative to
That's
get
it,
their
man.
medication or whatever, but fake another injury and get themselves in there to And I've seen that. And I've seen the frustration in doctors. That's why I asked. It's that what makes them hard? Because it would seem like that's where the frustration would be come from. Your genuine heart, genuine heart when the person comes in, they're just laying there in the stretcher fighting for their life, and then to run them over, you've got whoever that's been there for the 10th time this week, and it's just fucking wasting your time just to kind of get high and chill. Is that what the hardening comes from?
I don't think you see that so much right now. I think there's so much selectivity of what they allow into the hospital at this point. I can't really say what's happening today, but when I started out, you saw more situations like that. And we've lost a lot of our safety nets that people used to use for that, man. People that have for mental health, and other aspects that we decided we don't want to use that part of identity to, put that label on somebody. So they bounce around a lot in the hospital system because there's no way to really treat them except for the things that they're presenting with. But it's not the root core of what's causing the problems, things like schizophrenia, that's a degenerative disease. People don't last a long time with schizophrenia because the body just starts wearing down on itself, So you deal with that kind of stuff, man. It's hard. It really is. Let me tell you something. You don't get paid good money to do jobs that are easy. And it may not look like it's, sweaty brow all the time, which it is a lot of times, but it puts you through a lot of mental and emotional trauma at times. I used to tell people, you see me panic, you know it's time to run. All right. But for the most part, I can hold myself in most situations. I've been around a lot of different things, angry patients, coding, stuff like that, man. But, I was in the military for 8 years too, and, I got myself straight pretty early on in life, but I can't stay still in a lot of places. That's my problem, man. I like experiences,
I guess, man. It sounds like you've had yourself in such a serious place, such a serious environment for a very long time. I hope you do find time to enjoy, cut down, cut back and enjoy life a little bit, not be so serious.
Oh, I do.
It
I
takes
do.
its toll on you, as well, my friend. That can take its toll on you as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though. I've been told so many times by the people I work for that, really appreciate having me there, a good guide for people, a good assist, that sort of thing. So I feel I'm where I need to be right now, and I'm doing what I need to be doing, you know? So I'm happy.
I see you come strolling into my room. That's the thing I'm going to say when I see you. I think I'm in the place I need to be right now. Help me, brother.
Somebody gets it. Somebody gets it, man. I know this guy. He gets it. Yeah, I know, man. I know. No, I know what you're saying too. And sometimes it is like that. You get some people that are like that. We've had patients that they just don't like certain people, and some people they get a good vibe off of them. They like it, and you end up having those kind of situations. So
I enjoy the places I see it now. So unfortunately, if you see me in that type of environment, please take good care of me.
nah, something would have
Please take good care.
had to gone so completely sideways for that to happen, man. I don't even want to think about it. And I'm at a point where I'm not looking back at that same gee whiz. I want to get in there. Nah, no.
Oh
I've
no!
done.
Oh no! Even if
I've,
you're walking through the hallway and you hear my name, I'm expecting you to strap on them gloves. I want to take care of this guy.
I keep telling my neighbor that, man. She keeps talking. There's a guy I live around who's not in the best of shape, and she's like, "You're gonna have to do something about that." I said, "No, you don't understand. I'm the kind of nurse that knows how to dial 911. You know, that's the kind of nurse I am here, man. He needs to be sent to the hospital. Now, I'm not going to go in there and try to do anything that this is a chronic condition, you know. I'm not going to save the day. That's not going to happen. No, no, that doesn't happen, man. I'm laying low at home. I'm cool. I don't have to go out and save the world, man. That's for young people to do. It's a tough job, man. So don't get me wrong. It is a tough job. Everybody looks at it and says, "Oh, it doesn't look like it's too bad" when they see it on TV and shit. You know, and it's no, they don't show you. They don't show you even a tenth of what really it is, man.
How can it not be? How can it not be? Even your heart being in the right place. You know, you're taking in sadness throughout the whole day, pain. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? You
Yeah,
don't see it, hardly see them when they're in a good mood. Everything's going great. No, I'm in pain. Can you
yeah,
help me? I've got a shitty story. I need help. You know, and as a person, you gotta absorb a lot of that throughout the
yeah,
day. You know what I mean? It's gotta be tough. Gotta be
yeah.
tough.
Well, I kind of learned how not to get surprised by people by working in that job too, because you never know what a person's going to do at times, you know. And I've had people all of a sudden,